Over the years in climbing, I've never found myself lacking in motivation, but since climbing Lexicon, which was the hardest project of my life, I've just found myself a little bit lost and lacking in focus. That all changed when I watched Dave McLeod's 24/8 film about a multidisciplinary challenge which he did in Scotland. I've always enjoyed doing different styles of climbing, so this really resonated with me. And it also got me thinking about a similar challenge which Dan Turner did in the Lake District. So I set about planning my own multidisciplinary challenge, which was also themed around climbs in the 8th grade. My plan was to start with a V8 boulder problem, then to do an E8 trad route, followed by an 8A sport route, then a D8 dry tooling route, and to finish by hiking 8 Wainwright summits, all within 24 hours. During the planning stages, I had this feeling that I wanted to share the experience with a like-minded climbing partner, and then it hit me. I met Anak Verhoeven on an athlete meet in Italy. It was her first proper experience of trad climbing, and by the end of the weekend, she made the first ascent of an E7 and really enjoyed it. Anak had just climbed the 9B route in Spain, and we'd arranged to climb in the UK together afterwards. I didn't think for 1 minute that she'd be interested in joining me on the 8th challenge in the lakes, but when I suggested it, she jumped at the chance.
Initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the challenge. It was so different from what I usually do, and especially the dry tooling part. It was something I had never ever done before. Also, I'm not particularly good at hiking long distances, so that made me doubt a little. But nevertheless, the challenge sounded like a unique experience and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I just hopped on a train and joined Neil and his family. Ideally, I would have had more time to prepare, but the conditions just didn't allow it.
Okay, gosh, this really is more organised than I think I've ever been in my life. Okay, so starting from the beginning. Bouldering.
Check.
Plus warming up stuff, hangboards.
Yep.
Trad. I've been through the rack, it's all sorted. I've got rid of everything we don't need. Sport, dozen quick draws I think.
Yes. Same for dry tooling.
Tooling's all there, we've been through that. Got all the hiking stuff, extra torches have gone in.
Water. Good morning.
Good morning. Right, here we go. So challenge number 1, get this lot up the hill. So Dave McLeod and Dan Turner both did Font 8A for the boulder problem in their 8th rounds, and that really did set the standard, and I really wanted to do that as well. So I started trying a boulder problem in Kentmere called Tourniquet. Got pretty close to it, but then it started to warm up. And then Anak was due to join me in the UK, and I basically had to call it. I just had to resign myself to the fact that the boulder problem was too hard for me, and I just didn't want to let Anak down on the day. So instead, I picked a V8, which is still an 8, right? So it still fits the 8th challenge, but it's a little bit easier. I'm not much of a boulderer. I don't really know that many classic boulders in the Lake District, but the Bowderstone is just a spot that I love. I mean, it's board-style climbing, it's overhanging, powering on small crimps, lots of body tension, cutting loose, and I couldn't wait to show Anak this particular problem because it's so cool.
How are you feeling, Alan?
Great. I haven't had my usual amount of sleep. Not exactly the same hours, but I'm feeling good in spite of it.
Anak is used to slightly more sleep than me. I don't know if it's having children or something, but I get about 6 hours, so it's maybe 7 if I'm lucky. So this is pretty normal. That's what I used to do when I did competitions, just rush my warm-up and get really pumped and then get destroyed. I need to learn the art of pacing myself, especially to get through today, let alone just getting through this.
Yes.
2 hands on the top. Spot the comp climb. Have I got to do it again? Yes. Oh no. Yeah, nice one.
Yoo-hoo. Good.
Woo!
Here we are.
Nice.
So, 1 down, 4 to go.
4 to go. So with the boulder problem put to bed, it was on to stage 2 of the challenge. Iron Crag has something of a fierce reputation for trad climbing in the lakes, and I have fond memories of former battles here. I did a new E8 there called Way Out West, which seemed like the perfect contender. It starts up another route called Western Union, and then it breaks out right and finishes with a wild run out up the capping head wall. The protection is a mix of wires, cams and pegs. It's really steep and pumpy, and it almost feels like sport climbing, except for the fact that you have to place trad gear. Oh no. It looks pretty wet.
Yeah.
There's a black streak running down it, which was damp last time, but it's actually running with water this time.
It's precisely at the spot that is the most sketchy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, we can have a look, can't we? We can have a look.
Might be all right.
So we've got to the crag, and the thing that jumps out is there's a wet streak running down the route. Admittedly, it's not on the crux, it's on the approach bit, which is still E6, so it's still quite hard, and it's drenched. It's the sort of day where you would normally just sack it off and go, but it's challenge day, so we've got to somehow try and get through it, and it's definitely going to add a lot to the mix.
Right, and right.
Yeah, trying to keep the mood light-hearted, keep the spirits up, but I'm starting to feel myself getting drawn into the zone. Nice!
Okay, you did it.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Yeah!
Yoo! Good job, Neil!
Woo!
Yeah, you did it.
All right. I'm so relieved that's over. That's the worrying part done. I mean, the top run out's scary at the best of times, but the problem with that was that the traverse into it was wet, so you couldn't use a lot of the holds you wanted to. It was sketchier, feet were wet, constantly having to dry your feet. I just got more pumped. Yeah, woo, amazing. How was all the wetness?
Well,
Got through it, no slips.
it was more sketchy. I got all wet and black.
You got some mud, you got some wet patches.
Kept adding chalk, but it worked out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
On to the next one.
Yep, let's go.
Sport climbing.
No time to waste, unfortunately.
Well, that's part of the challenge.
The Lake District is renowned for its trad climbing, bouldering and hiking, but there's really not much choice when it comes to sport climbing. However, there is a great little limestone crag in the southern region called Millside, which hosts a hidden gem. God, feeling it in the legs already. We haven't even started the hike. Oh. Here we are, Millside in Cumbria. Not exactly Santa Lunia or Oleana, but it's a nice little local crag. Although 8A is normally well within my limit, I just didn't know how hard it was going to feel towards the end of the day, having done all that climbing, and I was starting to question how much I had left in the tank. I was also conscious that time was ticking on, so there wasn't any room for a mistake.
That's done. Okay, take. Woo! Good. Right. Sport climbing done.
Okay, now, actually I'll just top out, get my hands on top of the crag. Yeah, there we go. Okay, take. Well, that's a huge relief.
Onto dry tooling.
So dry tooling was definitely the wild card, or the sort of joker that we played in the round, because obviously Dave McLeod did a winter route in his round, and there's clearly no doing that in the Lake District in summer. But dry tooling really seemed to fit the bill. I mean, I've actually not done that much of it, and Anak had done none at all, apart from the very brief hour that we practiced the route beforehand. So it was great for us both to be doing something that was a little bit unfamiliar, well, very unfamiliar, but also to have that pressure of it being late in the day, knowing that we had to get this route done in order to be able to move on. This is the special dry tooling bag. We thought we'd be organised because we thought that by this time of the day we weren't going to be able to think straight. It even tells us what we need to move across. We don't even have to think.
Yeah, right.
Even though it's getting dark and we're in a rush, we have to just remember that the point of being here is to enjoy it.
Yes, do enjoy it.
Okay, that's the goal. Enjoy it, and hopefully we'll get to the top. Woo!
Oh,
Yeah, got it.
that is so much fun. I love it. It's like the same feeling I had when I first did tread and then bolting.
With the final climbing stage complete, as we made our way over to Coniston, it was tempting to celebrate. Yet we both knew that in many ways the toughest part was still to
Are you
come.
cold?
I really feel like the adventure actually starts now. It just feels too weird.
Real.
We should be in bed, and we're going for the longest hike I think I've ever been on.
I think we're gonna have to persevere, but we're good at that. It's going to be hard. We'll need at least a week to recover, but it's a challenge, and I like challenges. Number one?
Yeah, number 1 out of 7, Old Man of Coniston. Woo! The wind is very wild.
All right, hill number 4, Swirled How.
We are now on the top of Great Cars, number 5 out of 8 and counting. Another cairn in the middle of nowhere at Greyfriars. Yeah, number
Number
6.
6.
Okay, number 7, on we go.
Yes. Very fast, but. Yep.
So this is number 7, Wetherlam. I think we're on target for 24 hours. Just. Okay, the end is in sight. We've done number 7, we're on our way down, and that is number 8 over there, Holmfell. I think we can do it.
We've been running the whole last part. We were just completely broke. Just leave the time. So.
Guys, it's pitiful really, isn't it? When you think people run ultras. A bit embarrassing.
Remember you asked what I thought it was going to be like? So we would have to persevere, but I never thought it was going to be that hard, that much suffering, honestly.
Yeah. The footwork and the technique have sort of gone a bit. This is feeling harder than that 8A Sport route. Okay, we started bouldering yesterday. Yeah, about 7. It's 6:39, and that's the summit of Holmfell. I couldn't believe that I could still get those same feelings of excitement that I had in my youth, in my own back garden. It had been such a breath of fresh air to steer away from chasing big grades and to do something so unique and special. I just hope I can do the 5s challenge when I'm in my 70s.
I don't really know how I did it, but somehow we made it to the summit, and then it was just celebration and relief.